Hi, welcome to Biohacking with Brittany, a podcast focused on holistic health, nutrition, biohacking, and more. I'm your host, Brittany Ford, registered holistic nutritionist and self-proclaimed biohacker. During the last 10 years, I've focused on healing my gut and hormonal issues through lifestyle changes, nutrition, and of course, biohacks. And now I teach others to do the same. I'm so excited you're joining me today, so let's dive right in. Great. Well, on today's episode, we have a special guest. Basically, this came out of a interaction I had on Instagram, which was super organic, about hydration products, which is very, very new to me. But our guest today is Lynda Cormier-Hanser, and she is the co-CEO of GIA Wellness, a health company that focuses on elevating the foundations of wellness, including hydration, nourishment, and energy. But like I said, today we're really going to focus on hydration because I have tried these products myself and have a lot of questions about it and have seen some benefits. And I just really want to understand the science behind it. So yeah, here we go. Lynda, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to our talk and getting to share a little bit about this technology.
Absolutely. So, can you just tell us how you got started in this field yourself? And then maybe dive into the business and how it really grew and really just like where it came from.
Well, it is a little bit of a funny story because my background was not in wellness. My background was in training and teaching and personal development. I had my first speaking engagement when I was 26, and it was before Instagram and inspirational quotes were everywhere. And so I actually was hired to do a speaking engagement for this company that was launching wellness products. And then 10 years later, I found myself married to the other co-CEO and building this incredible company. And we feel really privileged to be able to have the rights to distribute these technologies. We didn't invent them, but we acquired the exclusive distribution rights. So for the past decade plus, we've been building this company, and I have had a belief that businesses don't grow, people grow, and they take businesses with them. And so my role primarily has been in helping people learn how to bring these products to the world and to the market and to, serve others first and foremost. And in the process, I guess, have become an expert in hydration.
That's awesome. So, yeah, as far as like I understand, okay, let me tell you what I understand of the products. Okay.
Perfect.
So it's a unit, like a technology unit that changes the molecular structure of the water so that it can be more hydrating to the body.
That's really close. It
Okay.
really is close. Sometimes people get confused, because there's a lot of filters out there. And before, that was the most important thing, right? Like
Right.
water was water, but you just wanted to make sure that it was clean water. But with new information, new discoveries, there's Nobel Prize winning research that tells us that in order for water to actually get in the cell, it has to be in a single file. So the H2O doesn't become something different than H2O, but instead of being in a clump, it actually gets activated by our device, and it just realigns the strands into something that's a single file. So it can get into the cell actually 3 to 4 times faster, which is it is significant what that translates into then in the human body.
Right. So how does it actually work? Like, how does it change the structure?
So when you have the device, so you know that you pour water into the pitcher, and then there is what we call the activator rests on top of the pitcher. When you push that button, there is an energetic frequency that is bombarded down onto the water. And so that's why, we instruct people, you don't want the water to touch the activator. You just fill it almost to the top. Once you push that button, in 30 minutes, that water then becomes realigned into a single file, so that what you're drinking, when you drink a cup of water, once it's been activated, it's basically like drinking 3 cups. And the pitcher itself also carries with it an energetic frequency that brings kind of the life force back into the water. So there's 2 technologies. Most people are focused on the single file alignment technology, the energy that is coming down and bombarding the water and realigning it. But there's a secondary energy that really helps make it even more bioavailable, because when you put clean water in there, usually through the processing of water, it's gets stripped, the natural energy force and life force of water gets stripped away. If you think of water rolling over rocks and being exposed to the geomagnetic field of the earth, water should carry with it some energetic properties, but usually after filtration and everything, those properties are gone. So that's a very general description of both of the technologies.
That's so interesting. I didn't realize that it had that second technology as part
Yeah,
of it as well.
yeah.
Yeah, interesting. And so I'm not sure if you've ever heard of this, but I forget the name of it. But you triggered this thought. Shoot, there's this book out there that was like printed forever ago, and it basically describes the structure of snowflakes.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah,
It's
and
it's Emoto, I think,
yes,
is the author. Yeah, he
yeah.
actually spoke at one of our events many, many, many years ago. Um, so yeah, water is an amazing carrier. And so part of what he talked about is that water, basically it's a solvent. You know, if you think about it, like
Mm,
it brings nutrients into the cell, it carries things. And one of the reasons the results are so profound is when you're drinking water that's actually hydrating the cell, there's a lot of things that happen. One of the most important things that happen is, one, your nutrient uptake is increased. So you're more hydrated and you're more nourished because it's bringing in all the nutrients that your body needs. The other thing that happens, though, is that it helps flush out toxicity. So a lot of companies are purporting to drink alkaline water. And for some people, that's great. But the premise behind wanting a balanced pH is, we know that cancer can't really thrive in an alkaline environment, and cancer thrives in an acidic environment. And so with our technology, because the water is hydrating the cell so efficiently, it actually helps press out and detox excess acid. And so all the research, we have a ton of research on the device. One of those studies shows that the water, once it's ingested, actually balances the pH. So you don't have to overcompensate by adding more alkalinity, because what you want is to bring your cells to a natural pH balance.
yeah, totally. That definitely makes sense. So, in terms of benefits, like you kind of mentioned, what are some of the benefits that people will see maybe immediately from changing their water and also like long term?
That's such a good question. The thing is this, everyone is different. And so we have people and testimonials from people that they will say, as soon as they start drinking it, they genuinely can feel more hydrated. They feel more energetic. They feel like they have better focus. And then there's other people, and I'll be honest, I was one of the other people that when we first got the technology and I started drinking it, I was like, I knew it was healthy and it was good for me, but I didn't know that I didn't really notice anything.
Mm,
Now, having said that, 10 years later, or more than 10 years now, I haven't been sick in 10 years. So I haven't had a cough, a cold, a fever, a flu. The water, the property of the water, because of the way it gets into the cell, it actually inhibits replication of bacteria, virus, and fungus. And so that's why we can say on the boxed water that we sell, as well as the device itself, that once it's activated, it's considered antifungal, antiviral, and antibacterial. And so it is, the long term results are significantly improved immune system. Um, Also, I will say, I'm 55, and most people would never think that I'm 55, because when your cells are hydrated, it's
mm.
kind of like the difference between a raisin and a grape. So
Oh my
So
gosh.
is I joke around. It's like I want everyone drinking eye water so that they stay healthy and are the healthiest on the inside. But really, the external results long
Mhm.
term are that people tend to look younger the longer they drink it.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes total sense because like as everybody knows, hydration is so key for skin health, and elasticity and toxins and acne
Yeah,
and all those types of things, in relation to skin. That's so interesting. So, in terms of how much we should be drinking of this water every day, if someone were to have the pitcher, is it enough to have like one glass of it, or do you like cook with this water too and like boil your tea with it? Like, do you use it for everything?
I use it for everything. We
Okay.
do recommend that when people start using it, if they are on, let's say, 2 or 3 medications, which unfortunately in today's day and age, there's a lot of people that are on a lot of medications. So we encourage people to start slow because if you start drinking water and your cells are highly toxic, your cells are going to start detoxifying because since the water is getting into the cell, it's pushing out the toxins. And if you do that too quickly, there are some people who have experienced like headache or something that is associated with a gentle detox. So, just out of precaution, we recommend that people start with, you know, I know it's in the, I think it's in the instructions, but I would personally recommend someone to start with 1 cup and then maybe in 2 days do 2 cups. And basically by the end of the week, you would just be drinking only eye water. It's called eye water because it refers to intelligent water, and we named it before the whole iPhone craze. So, like, someone was saying like, iPad, iPhone, and we have eye water, and it was like, no, that wasn't supposed to be connected.
That's funny. So then do you typically filter your water first and then put it into your jug as well after? Like is that your process?
Yeah, that's what I do. I mean, our family, we have a filter obviously in the refrigerator, and then we had an under the
Mhm.
sink filter, and then there's some times where I'll just buy bottles of bottled water. I think that water tastes different, and so I tend to prefer some bottled water that's clean. The only thing we say is whatever water you would normally drink, that's what you want to put in there. So if you normally drink Evian, then put Evian in there. If you normally, I wouldn't recommend putting tap water in there because my personal belief is that tap water, just carries with it too many pesticides and fluoride and things like that. But basically, any water that you feel comfortable drinking normally, you can put it in there. And the activation patent, it is for liquids. And so we actually have people who will, put like green tea and they'll put it in the activator so that the benefits of the green tea go farther into the cell, and faster. There's basically anything that you would read about why it's important to be hydrated, that's going to be a benefit. So, like my mom is 96. She's going to be 97 this August. And she only drinks 2 large glasses of eye water. And we have an antioxidant that she puts in there too. But from the minute she started drinking it, one of the things I noticed is that her short term memory loss seemed to be lessened. It was
Mm.
like she was remembering things a little bit better. And if you think about your brain, it's like over 90% water. So if your brain is hydrated, it makes perfect sense that it's going to function better. So that's why it's a little hard sometimes because people will say, so this magic water helps with brain fog and memory, and it also helps if you spray it on a sunburn or a burn to not blister. And the answer is yes, because water is really the only critical nutrient to life. And so if you are, you can't survive days without water, you can go days without food.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, I think that's like such a good point of water is used in so many different ways, honestly, and to expect your water or this technology to only do one thing just doesn't make sense for what water actually does,
Right, right.
and how we use it. And also, just in case people don't know, when it comes to filtered water, this is so important because not only does it have, like you mentioned, like pesticides and chemicals in it, it also actually has a ton of hormones in it from birth control, from everyone on birth control, from all of our cattle and our farms that seeps into the water that we're drinking. So seriously consider getting a filter and then using your GIA Wellness as well, technology as well, because that's what I do. So I like filter my water in a jug right now, and then I use the activator afterwards, and then I use that water.
Yeah. And it's the thing is we know that it requires a little bit of a change of behavior, which
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people are like, "Oh, so I have to filter it and then put it in here." And in the best case scenario, we would have a device hopefully in the future that filters it and activates it all at once. But this
Mm-hmm.
technology is not that old. We just are so fortunate that we were able to license and distribute this product. It was 15 years worth of research that got this product to be patented and then available for distribution. When we first got it, the timer on it wasn't even automatic. You had to set a timer because it has to do its thing for 30 minutes. And we were selling like crazy, even though people would have to set a timer.
That's
And
funny.
it was because it's relatively new technology. When you look in the, whole scope of things, it's not like it's been around forever.
Yeah. Would you also consider creating a shower one as well, or like a or a bath, but like a shower one? You know how you get like shower filters?
Yeah, we've actually had people ask, when are you guys going to do that? When is that coming? And I've always believed that with knowledge comes responsibility. So we have the rights to this technology as it is, but to develop it in a commercial use, it's a huge project. Because of the research that's available on like studies that specifically on the medical applications of this device, even though we do not go through the FDA, we don't, we're a wellness company and we don't want to get caught up in the rigmarole of all that.
Right.
We have a lot of healthcare practitioners that recommend eye water. We have people who, if they're a holistic healthcare practitioner, they pretty much use it as part of their protocol because it's just so important to be hydrated. If you're fixing anything in the body,
Yeah.
you're starting out with a good foundation.
Yeah. No, no, that totally makes sense. So, where did the research originally come from then, or where did you buy the technology from?
We licensed the rights, and it is really an interesting story. When people find out about this, it just makes so much sense. But I'll try and keep it as short as possible. So many people would remember Chernobyl and the nuclear fallout that happened as a result of that disaster. It's the largest unnatural disaster that has occurred in Europe, and it was in the 1980s, I think. And after that, and my husband, who's the co-CEO of the company, was born and raised in Austria. And he actually remembers that after Chernobyl, the kind of radioactive and the waste of that disaster carried across countries. And he remembers like the vegetables being completely deformed as a result of the Chernobyl disaster. So that was in our lifetime that happened. What they discovered is that there were some people who lived right by there who were not experiencing the symptoms of the radiation exposure. And so they sent a team of scientists in to figure out what was going on. Why was this population that lived fairly close to the disaster, they didn't have any symptoms? And so they spent a lot of time researching, trying to figure out, and they discovered the commonality is that they all drank water from this natural spring that was close by them. And so they started analyzing the water, and they expected that they would maybe find some content like minerals or some
Mm.
content of the water that made it different. But after a lot of research, what they discovered, it was the structure and the single file alignment, that water coming from whatever part of earth with the, like I said, the magnetic field. And there are some other parts of the world where it's been discovered, but the inventor then went back and spent 15 years trying to mimic the kind of water that was in this spring. And so that's basically what the eye water, how it became to fruition, is that he spent 15 years figuring out how to create an energetic field that if it was bombarded, and obviously the research that it was 30 minutes and trial and error and trial and error and submitting the patent and doing the studies. And so that's where the invention came from.
Wow, that's like such a fascinating story.
I know, it's incredible. And then
Yeah.
that's the connection now when we think about, we live in a world that has so much wireless radiation. The hotspots at a local coffee shop or in the airplane or in a hotel or in our own homes. So we are surrounded by this excess radiation, which is really stress, it's a stress. And so the connection there is, if this water was consumed by people who were exposed to the radiation fallout from Chernobyl and didn't have symptoms, what could it do for us? Clearly, there's a lot of
Mm.
research that the radiation puts a stress on the human body, and there's a lot of information about the dangers of it. But the truth is, at the end of the day, you could still be in a rainforest with no radiation exposure, and you still would benefit from being optimally hydrated.
Hmm. Yeah, that's so fascinating. So, why do you think that not more people know about this type of water?
Well, I guess that's relative. We've been in business for 10 years. We have
Mm.
distribution in the United States, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. We've generated several millions and millions of dollars in sales in the last 10 years. But we've opted to share these products in a way where we don't, we do kind of direct to the website. We have some independent consultants who share the products now on Instagram, and in the world of the, I guess, kind of the side hustle, people call it, that it's sharing through word of mouth. It really requires a conversation.
Mhm.
So we feel really very proud and excited about how many people have the thousands and thousands and thousands of people who have these units in their home. And of course, we would, like I told you when we first were talking, I wish I could close my eyes and every household would have one in their kitchen, because I think it's so important. Um, so, I guess it's evolving. It's an evolving business that continues to grow. We've been growing every year for the past 10 years. So
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I'm very happy and excited for you guys that you're growing so rapidly and moving into the social media space more. And I think that's awesome. And more people do need to know about this and hear it on podcasts like this and have someone explain it and kind of break it down for them.
exactly, it does.
Yeah.
It requires a conversation, and it's really
Yeah.
interesting because the device is less than $1,000 and it lasts for 40 years. If you use it once a day, the technology lasts for 40 years. And so if you break that down to the per day cost of what people would spend on a coffee or a latte, it really is like a no-brainer investment, especially because everyone in the family or everyone who you live with is going to be able to benefit from it. It is, I think it's one of those things though that people, we don't we don't do a whole lot of like marketing or television ads, and we don't distribute in markets, or we have healthcare practitioners, we have wellness centers, we have retreats that bring this to the world. But our goal is to get it to more and more people, and that's why we're doing like payment plans and easy pay options, because or monthly payments, just because we want people to be healthy, and I want as many people as possible to recognize how they really can take control of their health in something so simple.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That like I totally agree with you and I think that's awesome. So is this water suitable for everybody then? Like who is it specifically useful for?
That's such a good question. Really, everybody. I mean, the thing is that naturally, your body, when, let's say, you're a baby and you're drinking water or liquid, any liquid, your body naturally converts the water into a single file. Otherwise, it would never get into the cell. Like people would just be dropping,
Mhm.
they'd be dropping dead because it's a natural process that the body literally takes energy, time, and effort, and it's a function of the human body to convert the water, puts it in a cell. I mean, puts it in a single file line. It's like a group of kids all coming in a classroom door after recess. If they're all clumped together, they can't get in. So the body says, okay, in order for this to get in the cell, we need to put these people or these, water in a single file. But as you age, that process slows down. So when you're, a baby and you scratch yourself or they have a little wound, it heals really quickly because they're so hydrated. So basically, after the age of 5 and then past your teen years, those physiological functions of the human body slowly start slowing down.
Mhm.
So the like if somebody's in their 20s, yeah, they still have pretty good function, but if they're an athlete or if they're a student and they want full capacity of their brain and their energy levels, it's going to benefit them to drink eye water, and it's going to still help bring those nutrients into the cell and keep them healthy and boost their immune system. Anyone over like 40 or 45, when you start seeing the physical signs of aging, that's when you know that that function is slowing down, because aging is really a function of dehydration. Just like I was
Mhm.
saying, a grape and a raisin, it's the same thing. The
Mhm.
only difference is that the grape is, or the raisin is dehydrated, so it's shriveled up.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Yeah, I almost want to like do some sort of test for myself. Like, I mean, I've been drinking it probably for, I don't know, maybe a couple months now. Must be at least a couple months. And I'm just like curious to see, a year from now or 10 years from now, like
Well,
what things are going to look like and how I'm going to feel.
yeah, I think there's a few. I always tell people, if you really want to test it, like, there's tons of research we share with people and look at the studies and look at how it has helped, like with staph infections, with
Mm,
patients who are on chemotherapy, what it literally changing white blood cell count. Like, there's studies that show all that. But what you and I might have happen to us, which happens to me all the time, if I put something in the oven and I burn myself accidentally on the, the whatever the top where the broiler is,
yep. Yep.
if you spray eye water on a burn, you will see it's insane how quickly it doesn't blister, it doesn't scab, and you'll see literally how quickly. Or one of the things, I had a friend who was like, it's just water. How do he was like joking around and like,
Yeah.
how different could it be? And he was with us in Palm Springs and he got so sunburned. I was like, okay, well, let's just do a test. And we only sprayed half his body. And literally the next day, the left side of his body was tan and the right side of his body was still bright red.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to do that test
And
then.
so you can just, like, it's just water. So you can spray
Yeah.
as often as you want. I encourage people, if you burn yourself, spray it as soon as it dries, spray it again as soon as it dries. You can't overspray. You can't overspray.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I actually just got burnt a couple days ago. So it's like summer here obviously now. So next time it happens, I will definitely do that and try it out. Maybe like put it on one arm and not the
Yeah.
other and then take some photos.
Yeah. Or you can also buy flowers and put half of them in regular tap water and then put the other half of the flowers in eye water. And you will
Ah,
see that the flowers will last longer. We have people who spray
interesting.
like lettuce when it looks like it's wilty. And if they spray it with eye water, it kind of comes back to life a little bit.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I have been actually giving it to some of my plants. So maybe I should give it to them all the time now.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
we
awesome.
have some images of plant growth side by side,
Cool.
one fed with eye water and one not, and it's like the size of the leaves are huge on the eye water side.
Amazing. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely gonna try that. So do you have like a spray bottle that you guys sell as well, or do you just like buy one and put the water in there?
When you get your eye water unit, you should have had spray bottles come with it in the box. So when someone purchased, I don't know where you got it or how you got it, but when you purchase an eye water, you get a water bottle, several different spray bottles, a little carrier. It's like a whole system.
Okay. I got the travel kit. Now, I don't know if
Oh,
it
that's
is
why.
in that one.
Oh,
Okay.
that's why. Yeah.
Okay.
So the travel kit, yeah, the travel kit doesn't have the spray bottles, but if somebody gets the countertop unit, it comes with several spray bottles. So we can make sure you get some spray bottles.
Yeah,
They
I would love that.
they have the energy as well. Everything that leaves our warehouse carries that energetic life force. It's called
Right.
ERT, and so we make sure that so even the spray bottles have that.
Interesting. Yeah, because I would love to even experiment with like spraying it on my face, like my
Absolutely.
skin.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, you'll notice a huge difference if you're consistent with it.
Really? Do you use that on your skin?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have a one skincare very a serum that's like
Mhm.
oil based floral extracts, and then we have a fragrance free fluid that is for sensitive skin. I use them together, I mix them, and then I spray eye water because basically it's taking the ingredients. Like we all know that vitamin C is good, hyaluronic acid is good. So any
Mhm.
skincare that you are in love with, if you don't use ours, you just spray eye water on top of it because it draws the ingredients into the cells.
Wow. Okay, that's so interesting. I've just been getting into like deep into skincare recently. Probably in the last, I don't know, 6 months, a year. So, and like definitely I use like hyaluronic acid and all of these different things. But if you could make the actual ingredient more potent with the eye water, then that just makes sense.
It's the simple phrase we use often. A nutrient or an ingredient is only as good as the body's ability to absorb and use it.
Yes,
So
absolutely. Yeah.
the if whatever it is that you're putting on your skin, if you spray eye water on top, it's bringing those ingredients, like hand delivering them to the cells so that they can use those ingredients.
Awesome. Oh, I love this. I'm so excited. I want to try it on my skin now. I think that's really cool. And it's something I haven't done. So I'll definitely report on that on Instagram when I experiment with
Yeah,
that.
I'll be happy to send you some spray bottles too.
Yeah, great. Okay. So where can people find you and how can they connect with Geo Wellness going on from here?
So, obviously, Instagram, Facebook, and then just our website. It's geowellness.com. And we are constantly trying to improve. As a matter of fact, in the next day or so, we have our technology page that's going to go with some added information to make things really easy. If anyone has any questions, sometimes it just depends on the person. Sometimes they want like the full, all the studies that have been done, and we have a little packet of information we can send out. Testimonials are probably the most important thing because a lot of
Mhm.
times people want to know how it works, but really what they want to know is that it works. And so, like the before and after pictures that we have are amazing. And that's all on the website. People can read, the research is on there, the validation, the patent. So it's just geowellness.com.
Love that. And I will definitely link to all of that in the show notes. Yeah, so thank you so much for coming on. I learned a lot and I'm just super excited to dive deeper into this work.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, I'll look forward to hearing from you after you start spraying it on your skin. So I'll make sure and send you some of those spray bottles.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. As always, feel free to screenshot this episode and tag me if you'd like me to respond. I really hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. If you have a question about your health, my DMs are always open and I'm currently taking new clients. Thanks and see you next time.